All right, Talon Rice, my man. Pleasure getting the chance to sit down and talk with you, man. We've been talking about this for a while. Wanted to take this time just to get to know more about you so we can get the word out about, the great things you're doing, man. Oftentimes we talk, but we never get the backstory around, what people are passionate about and how they kind of arrived at these passions that they have. First thing I'm gonna ask, man, is where you from? Rep your hood or whatever. Where you from, how you grew up, childhood, all that good stuff, man.
Appreciate you taking the time, man, and I'm happy to be able to share the story where I'm looking to go, and what I hope will be an exciting journey along the way. To get started, I grew up in Lunenburg County, Virginia. I call it in the middle of nowhere. Maybe the biggest reference point might be South Hill, Virginia, which is about a half hour from the North Carolina border. Grew up in a really small town, but I always had family on my mom's side that lived in New Jersey. So oftentimes up through maybe sixth grade, middle school sometime. Every summer, I go up there to visit my cousin and kind of hang out up there. And so I got a little bit of that northern flavor, right? That East Coast flavor. So much so that by about the time I got to late middle school, high school, teachers and even some of my classmates would ask, "Where are you from?" I guess because I didn't quite have the accent of everybody from the small town. So I got a lot of different experiences, different perspectives up there, going from, again, really small town to more of a northern suburb. I wasn't in an urban setting by any means up there, but just got to see a different way of life, something that was much more fast paced, more condensed, obviously. And so that really shaped, I think at an early age, the idea that there's more out there. And if I got just a little taste of that from New Jersey, like I want to see what else is out there, man. So that kind of got my brain moving, connecting dots in ways that I don't think I would have before, but definitely sparked an interest to travel a little bit more and to see the world.
Cool, this good stuff, man. Definitely a big difference between South Hill and Jersey. The more of the world you see, I think the more that, it pushes you to want to see more, want to learn new things and gain different perspectives. You don't know what you don't know. So, as you get introduced to more things, you want to learn more and see more that's out there. So, you're in New Jersey growing up, man. Tell me more about your education background. Once you went to school in Jersey, and where'd you go to college?
Yeah, I spent my entire third grade year in New Jersey, so really got immersed up there. But then came back to Lunenburg, where I finished, elementary on up through high school. This is a lot of what shaped me as well. I go to governor school part time while I'm in high school, and so I'm immediately in these two different worlds, taking dual enrollment college credits. I am. It's been a while now, man. I'm thinking back. I am the only Black male in governor school, which prepared me for a lot of moments later on in my life when I would be
Mm-hmm.
the only Black male in specific rooms. But I'm taking dual enrollment credits, and I had some exposure to code shifting before, but I mean, it was more delineated. I mean, first thing in the morning, code shift, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm taking the courses, predominantly a white environment. And then I get back to high school, to Central High School, and I'm back in my environment with my friends, and I can kind of turn it off a little bit, be a little more comfortable. So I finished high school and I graduate valedictorian of my high school class. And I'm super, super excited, right? All this hard work that I've been putting in, a lot of the sacrifices that I made, for the high school high life, if you will,
Right,
uh,
right.
to continue to study. I made it valedictorian, right? And then in less than 24 hours, the very next day, my mom leaves. Tumultuous relationship with my dad, a relationship of domestic violence, infidelity, all that type of stuff, which really shaped me to I think more than anything else, it really shaped my focus, right? Because you got all that noise going on in the house, school at that time, extracurriculars, and even work and some of the extracurriculars I'm doing now serve as an escape for me. You hear basketball players talk about it a lot. If
Mm-hmm.
they have things going on in their lives, they're able to just really focus on the craft and get really, really tuned in. And so that was something that I did. with school. So the highs and the lows I speak of that really forced me to remain even keeled. And that's part of my personality, or at least was part of my personality up until recently, man, in large part till meeting you guys. And so I took that from high school into college, getting over my parents splitting up. And I'm my first year in college, I'm existing, man. I'm essentially like a zombie trying to figure out what this now new life means with having two divorced parents. And the whole time, man, I'm kicking myself because on the one hand, I'm feeling what I'm feeling. On the other hand, I'm like, first of all, you wanted it. You want to see your mom in that situation any longer than she had to be. But number two, like you were going to be gone anyway. So why are you tripping about this in your head when you were going to be removed from that situation anyway? While in school, my wife actually grew up in the small town that I'm from in Lunenburg. We had mutual friends, knew of each other, obviously, but didn't start dating until I say she followed me to UVA. She'll deny that to this day. But she really helped me get through college because I was struggling, man. Even in a lot of the courses that I had taken as dual enrollment college credits, I was failing at UVA, man. It wasn't clicking. And I think in large part, it was because my mind was elsewhere, man.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Did you think some of that baggage that came from experiencing that right after you graduated and then you jump right into college? It's just human nature that some of that stuff is going to weigh on you and it has to come out in some form or fashion, man.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I didn't understand that though until a couple years after college, when I had some time now to digest the whole experience, settle down a little bit. But keeping with the education track, graduated from UVA. I started out as an engineer, ended up as a English and sociology double major. I mean, did a complete 180 when I was in there. Get out of school and I work for Altria for a while. And I'm a territory sales manager where I'm essentially selling and marketing planograms. You're familiar with it.
Yeah, pretty familiar with it.
But so for those who aren't, though, I got really, really tired of it because my retailers in my area would only be concerned about the rebates. And I'm looking at the planogram and then I'm looking at the display like, come on, this has to be a little bit of a give and take. But it's Talon, where's my rebate check? So I got over that and over sales very, very quickly. My brother was an attorney. He's very much like my brother, my father figure, uncle, kind of best friend while I was growing up, because I didn't have the best relationship with my dad. And I always had this vision of being a professional, right? Whatever that means, suit and tie, going into the office every day. Recession starts to take hold in 2008. And I'm like, all right, this is the time to do it. I'm not really comfortable in my job. I don't like that much. I don't know what this avalanche of the financial crisis is going to bring. And so now is as good a time as any to go to law school. That takes my fiance at the time, my wife now, and me to Pittsburgh. Funny story here. I told you I have family in New Jersey, right? Pennsylvania is right by New Jersey. I had no concept of space, Eastern Pennsylvania to Western Pennsylvania. Where
right.
5 hours away, man. And I'm like, what the heck did I sign up for? Cold winters, man. First winter up there, totally disrespected my winter clothes. I had to double and triple up to get used to the weather up there. Completed my first year of law school. And it was about 6 months into that first year. I'm like, man, like, what the heck is this feeling? Like something is off. I'm not centered. I'm not balanced. And I keep searching. What is it? Until I go to the bathroom one day, I'm washing my hands and I look in the mirror and I kind of look up like, all right, another long day, take a deep breath, kind of recompose myself. And it hits me. Looking in the mirror is the only time I see another face like mine. Right? That kind of takes me back to governor school, except at this time, it's me and my wife. She has some extended family up there, but in large part, we're on our own.
And what law school was it?
Duquesne University.
Duquesne,
in downtown Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm getting through my first year there, and I do okay my first year, enough to make it back for my second year. And I've always been business minded. I sold rap CDs my junior and senior year in high school. My wife and I had a photography videography business for a while there. And so have always loved business for the challenges that they bring, but then also because of the potential individual financial freedom and kind of charting your own course. So I finished my first year of law school and I'm like, look, I got a passion, a curiosity about business. If I'm going to get my MBA, it has to be now, because law school was kicking my ass, dude. I'd never been more challenged in my life. And I'm like, if I finish law school, there's no way I'm going back to school ever again. So I reached out for a joint JD MBA program. Long story short, I'm working part-time over summers, taking summer courses to be able to finish that up in 4 years. And in 4 years, I get it done.
Dealing with not only just the rigor of the work, but also the pressure of being one of few, do you feel like that weighed even more on, getting the work done and getting through it?
Yes is the short answer, but I've been prepared for it, right? I talk about governor school and I talk about the University of Virginia being a PWI. It is what it is. The biggest thing for me was that I didn't have the network to fall back on.
Gotcha.
Right. To kind of rejuvenate after those full days of class. Mm-hmm. I tell this story too. I think I actually felt new synapses connecting in my brain. There was a property course. And after we get finished, I tell one of my classmates, like, does your brain ever tingle sometimes? Mm-hmm. And that was the entire rewiring of my brain that law school kind of does. So I like to share that story just because it really changed my perspective and my outlook on life.
So, man, building new muscle, man, that's what it was doing.
Yep.
Cool. So that, that kind of led you to where you are, man. And, I'd love to get for those who don't know, what you do now and kind of how, you shared how you got here, but, you have your consulting business, your logo's behind you. I love that logo, man. Makes you look, we talked about it before, how it, it kind of has glimpses of, some African, like kings and queens type stuff. So, man, so I love that. But I would love for you to speak more about, what your consulting business does, what you do in your consulting business, and what led you to kind of starting that business.
Yep. No, happy to share. Kaiban Consulting is a management consulting company for small businesses, whether that be contract drafting, financial analysis, strategic planning. I have professional experience in supply chain, right? Any of those things, you give me a business problem, you give me a business goal, I can help you get from where you are to where you want to be, just given my experience and then my education. The why is more so just that intellectual curiosity and the belief in the power of financial literacy and its impact on financial freedom. Mm-hmm. And so anything I can do to really help people realize their dreams, I want to be a part of, because part of it, deep down, man, I'm a nerd, right? And, if I kind of see business as a video game of sorts, where the points and the coins are the equivalent of money in the short term, right? Ultimately impact when you start to think bigger. And as I get older, I start to think more in those terms. But what are those like levels, those checkpoints that a business owner wants to or needs to get to, right? And how can I help them get there? I've had just so much help, whether it be from my brother, extended family, mentors, friends, colleagues along the way, that really helped me get to where I am. I would not be here having this conversation with you were it not for them. And so I've committed myself to just paying it forward, man.
I love that, man. That last line you had there around paying it forward, man. And, we oftentimes talk about that, between us and the other guys in our group, man. And, that each one teach one is definitely a mentality that, we live by, man. So, to kind of build on that, obviously with your consulting business, because you want to give back, obviously there's a lot of need of the services that you provide, particularly in the Black community. So how do you kind of see your business as a catalyst for kind of building that strong Black community that we know we can have, but we've lacked for some time? We think we have the pieces in place to kind of help us get there. How do you see your business kind of playing a role in that?
Yeah, good question. And I'd answer that in a couple ways. The first way is just in traditional business practices, right? How is a particular company thinking about profitability, thinking about access to capital, thinking about strategic competencies, right? What makes you different from the rest of your competition in your market? So it's really encouraging those business owners to give some thought to those types of things. And then more specifically to the Black community, this is going to be a theme. Financial literacy to me is the bronze bullet, right? And I use that term intentionally. I don't think there is a silver bullet. There is no one perfect solution, but the closest thing I can see is that financial freedom. And small businesses are one way to be able to do it. Not the only way, but one way to get there. And so that's why I want to help.
I love that answer, man. I think oftentimes we tell people, be an entrepreneur, be your own boss. And, it's a message that people like to hear, but they don't know the steps that are needed to actually be successful in that space. And the statistics may be old, but, within, 3 to 5 years, a lot of those businesses fail.
Sure.
A large percentage of them fail. And I think it's because we get into it and not really have a grasp of what it takes to be successful and to actually run a business. So I think services like you provide, just the core things of running a business. We talked about what are your core competencies as the business? What does success look like? Just putting those things in place for a business, it seems like common sense, but if you've never been exposed to it, you don't know it. And that's why I think services that you provide are so important, particularly to Black businesses, because, we want to see them sustained and want to see them be around for a while and not just a here today, gone tomorrow type business, man. The reason for our interview, man, is related to, what we're doing as a collective of gentlemen, Black men. And, I'd love to get your take on the overall vision, man, and where you'd like to see this go and how you'd like to see all of us played a role in your overall vision of what you ultimately want to do between, the artwork, the interviews, the books, all this stuff that we're trying to put out there into the world, man, was kind of like the brainchild of you. You kind of said, hey, we've been talking about this stuff for a while. We're actually going to do something about it. So I'd love to dig deep into that and understand your vision, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the setup. And I know you can see me smiling because this is something I'm really passionate about, really excited about as well. And I think my passion and excitement is largely a function of me just receiving the energy from you guys all along the way. I appreciate you for coining the name of the group as the collective. And what I want to see here is essentially a Black professional superhero universe. Right. My goal and my vision is that grand. You touched on a couple of things. There's some digital imagery roaming around social media that shows Black folks in a positive light, right? Celebrating success, the camaraderie, the brotherhood, just the togetherness of Black folks that I don't see, definitely not on mainstream media, but not even really on social media. And in terms of giving back to my community and paying it forward, I saw that as a gap and an opportunity for more folks just to feel better, right? And all else equal, if you feel better, that'll free up your emotional capacity to really be more receptive to opportunities that present themselves to you. These video calls are another piece of it. And again, think universe, think layers, think complexity. We have those still images, right, that can easily be voiced over to create either, some type of audio visual that aligns with however a viewer might look at the still image, or we could take the audio part and go in an entirely different direction to achieve another goal. And that's with incremental effort, minimal incremental effort, right? It takes a couple phone calls, a couple emails, we set up the video call and we go get it done. Cut it up later. Technology is now so pervasive and so easy to use. In a weekend, we would have an episode. Over a couple months, we got a season. Yep. Over a couple years, we got a collection. right? And so then the question becomes, just like with Marvel, DC, some of these bigger superhero universes, then where can I pivot? Except that in my professional experience, I no longer look at things in a waterfall method, right? Where one has to be complete before I start phase two. Let's do it in iterations. So the art is not done, the audio visual is not done, but it doesn't matter. I have faith enough in our group of guys and just the goodwill, the intellectual capacity that all roads will converge because we're going to will it to converge. And so I'm working on books, right? Ira and I are working on Soul Piece. I got some things that I'm working on with my wife that incorporate into the art as well. A book about my non-traditional legal journey. And then things even as intimate and as emotional as my wife and I losing our daughter. Because I don't want to forget that emotional piece, that family piece, and just the value that a strong Black woman has played throughout my life.
You can feel the passion in your voice, man. And you know, we on the other end here, I'm just super excited to be a part of it, man. To hear you share your story, man. It's authentic, it's real, man. And like I said, you feel the passion, man. And when you put those things together, how can you not be excited to be a part of something like this? So you know, the somebody asked me about it a couple days ago, and I said, man, we building like the Black Avengers, man. Like, it's, you know, we don't know where it's gonna go, but we know that we headed in the right direction, and we just trying to tell these positive stories, put that positive imagery out there of Black professional, particularly men, man. You just don't see it outside of like celebrities or you know, politicians or, you know, athletes. You know, you don't see it enough, and we're just trying to reinforce that positive imagery and to show people that you don't have to be famous, you don't have to be a celebrity. These are guys that grew up just like you, from places just like you, really being successful and really trying to make change and do positive things for the community. So again, brother, it is a pleasure to be a part of this, man, and thank you so much for kind of leading the charge here, man. You know, as you think back to, you know, you shared a lot thus far, man. Is there one moment, you know, and it may have been more recent, where you just thought, man, that really sparked that need to say, man, I really want to give back. I really want to, you know, leave something in this world that, you know, that people can remember me by. Is there one moment that you can think of that kind of sparked that need in you?
First of all, great question. And I can't think of any one particular moment. I really think of just a growing pull, a growing tug on me to do it. Whereas at first it's, like that felt good to do something good, to the point of, hey, let me think about ways to do good, to give back. Okay, that feels good. I kind of build that muscle. Now I know how to do it. Now I know how to identify opportunities to do it. Going back to, you know, multiple roads converging, I grew up in the church. My family, I mean, is generationally very, very religious. And so I have no doubt that my ancestors, God is guiding me in ways that I don't even know about right now. And so part of it was, at some point after feeling that tug and that pull, I just stopped fighting it. And I really just leaned into it. And that's when opportunities really started presenting themselves. I meet you guys. You guys have your own experiences. So now I'm only throwing out ideas at this point. A lot of them fall flat. The ones that do connect really exponentially impact some of the thoughts and ideas that are being shared among that group. That makes me feel better. I see you guys winning. I see you guys growing. And so now I got even more passion and excitement to find the next idea, the next contribution. And so I don't think it was any one moment. It's just over time, finding success, finding joy in those experiences makes me want to do more.
That's great, man. Great way to end it, man. I think the one thing that you said was you felt that tug, you know, when you were doing good, and, you know, that felt good. And then the next time you did it again, felt a little bit better, man. That's just, you know, I ain't the most religious person, man, but that's the good Lord telling you, man. I'm pulling you in that direction, man.
Yeah.
This is what you're supposed to be doing. Just the good Lord telling you, man, I'm pulling you here. this is your calling, man. So thank you for listening, man. Thank you for pulling us brothers in to be a part of it. Super excited about this, man. Thanks for allowing me the opportunity to ask you these questions, to get a little deeper insight into who Talon Rice is, man. This is the first of many. You know, we'll definitely dive in deeper as we get further into this journey of whatever this collective ultimately ends up being. Man, this is super dope, man. Super inspirational. Just want to thank you for kind of being the spearhead to get this all in motion, man.
No, you're most certainly welcome, and I appreciate you for setting this up, man. And if it's okay, can I make one announcement?
Yes, sir.
Given everything that has happened recently and the disproportionate and disparate impact on Black communities, from now at least until the election, no fees need to be paid by clients that I help, right? And so if there's anybody who's been thinking about starting a business, growing a business, switching marketplaces, whatever the case may be, call me. And I say that because we're uniquely positioned right now as an African-American community where the world is essentially in transition, and especially the United States is in transition, both economically as we try to recover from the pandemic, but then from a social justice, equality, and equity perspective. And so if there's any time for me to really try to leave my mark on the world, there hasn't been a better time than now to do it. And I want to make sure that I make myself, my resources, and my company as accessible as possible to make that happen. And then the second thing is, I was talking to Ira about this last night. I'm looking for an ecosystem of businesses to invest in, right? Not a single business, but an ecosystem, a supply chain. I don't know what it looks like, but my whole point, and some of this will be reflected in the art to just show you like how my mind kind of pieces ideas together from an investment diversification perspective, from just a likelihood of success if company A has a partner in company B, which is downstream in the supply chain to company C, right? That cash flow circulation makes each company more likely to be sustainable. And so I'm calling on any and everybody who has a business idea. You're going to need people, you're going to need partners, you're going to need customers. And so think about where your friends, your colleagues, your network can really intersect along those spaces. Pitch me the business idea for that collective, right? Using the common theme of the collective. Pitch me those ideas because I'm looking to invest. I appreciate that opportunity to be able to share it.
Hey, not a problem, man. I love that. Gonna get the word out, man. Contributing to the empowerment of Black businesses, Black small businesses, man. For everybody that's out there listening, man, this is the opportunity to, get that support that you need. He said no fees, but not only that, he's willing to invest in your business. So it's twofold, y'all. Like, it's not only helping you and guiding you, but also putting money into your business potentially if you come correct and have your pitch correct. He's here to help you regardless. So I, again, appreciate you putting that opportunity out there, man. Appreciate this opportunity to dig in deep and learn more about you, man. And super excited, man. Can't say that enough, man. But look, man, we both family men. I don't want to spend too much time on this thing, man.
Absolutely, that's part of it.
We've kept it about 30 minutes, and I think we've learned a lot about you and definitely learned a lot about where you're trying to go and who you're trying to bring along for the journey, man. So I think it's a good time to wrap up, and we look forward to the next time, man. Appreciate you, Talon.
Likewise, Tony. Good chatting as always.
All right, man. Have a good one, brother.
You too. Later.